All right, I think I'm live here. It's been a minute since we've gone live. So if anybody's out there, if you could let me know how the audio is going, checking on a new setup that we've got going on here. So the deal is I'm preparing for a big job. Beginning of the year, beginning of the season, starting off with a big bang, big job. So I wanted to update to all the latest firmware on all of our gear, cameras, lights, transmitters, everything. Testing it, even software. We're going to be using Evoto tethered for one session, doing a magazine shoot, doing an event, doing a gala. So it's a lot going on. We'll have a lot of gear. What I'm going to do is the goal is to be on live several times leading up to this job. It's a destination job in Phoenix, Arizona. But this is the foundation. Everything's been updated. So I went to Westcott, downloaded the firmware, and then I updated the firmware for the transmitters and all of the flashes. Westcott's really good about keeping their firmware up to date. Hey, Claude, could you let me know? Can you hear me okay? I'm moving around. I just want to make sure that the audio is working really well because I plan on moving about. And I just want to make sure that the audio is doing well. So if you give me a thumbs up, that'd be great. Yeah, so what I was saying is updated everything because technology changes. The electronic shutter in the R1, I like to use if I'm outside because I get that extra stop of light. You could go to 2/50th of a sync speed versus, I believe, 1/80th on the R1, or it might be 250, then 300. I get confused between the R1 and the R5 Mark II. I've recently bought a second R1. I love the R1 so much. It is like an F1 race car. It focuses in low light. It acquires focus instantaneously. I'm not kidding. Last season, I was averaging about 98% all usable files in focus, no matter what the lighting conditions, no matter what I was photographing, be it wildlife, fast-moving sports, or fast-moving events on the dance floor in dark, low light. It is just that much better than the R1. I mean, the R5 Mark II. So, like I said, now I'm going through and I'm testing everything. And I'll walk you through our tests and what I'm going to do. I've got a color swatch. I've got a lens test pattern. I'm shooting against a white background with a subject that's colorful. And that challenges TTL whenever you have all those various tones with something either really bright or something either really dark. 99% of the time, my off-camera flash is always manual, right? Various random, just for consistency's sake. What we're doing with the triangle of light is we're sculpting and we're creating depth while not overpowering the light that is set by the designer and the tone and feel and look of the room. The off-camera flashes just give that modeling, a little separation light. The on-camera flash, 99% of the time, that's always manual for me. I'm sorry. The on-camera flash is 99% of the time always in TTL because I'm moving close, I'm moving away, and I would forget to change my settings. So I just find it much easier in this scenario for the on-camera flash for events to be in through the lens metering. The way TTL works is it emits a pre-flash, an instantaneous pre-flash. It calculates the proper flash output for that light or the entire group of lights, and then it sets that flash power level accordingly. I never trust the LCD screen because it could be too bright. It could have a color cast. So I always review my histogram, and I'll show you that. So my base for testing is we don't want to get any of the ambient light, so we're 200 ISO, 200th of a second shutter speed, daylight white balance, aperture 6.3. And because this is a new firmware, I'm going to be testing the TTL. So let me give you a walk around here. I'll pop this off. And if you have any questions, please drop them in and let me know. All right, I'm coming over here to see. Make sure you guys can hear me. Give me a thumbs up, some type of response, because I'm using the wireless mic. So here we go. I've got the Westcott FJ200, and they're all in independent groups. The Canon EL-1, which I'm going to test because it's had an updated firmware to function better with wireless interference. With the EL-1s, I use the Bolt battery. So this sucker will run all day and the recycle time is nuts, crazy fast. The FJ200s are great. And I always label my off-camera flashes the same. So groups B, C, and D are my off-camera. So I label it B. The EL-1 has a B on it. So they're always set up the same. This is the Westcott quick mount bracket. So I can mount 3 flashes on the outside and 1 in the middle. I'm going to use the diffusers to really spread the light out. So this is in group B. Right now it's in TTL. I'm going to shoot wired tethered because I'm testing the latest software with Evoto. So here we go. And I'm using the Tether Tools Aero Track. So it'll be portable, quick, and easy to set up on location. So I have been finding Evoto the easiest and best software to shoot either wireless or wired tethered into. It just connects instantaneously and we're good. Here's our set. So we've got our color chart, because I'll check these in post. I've got a lens chart. I've got a few new lenses, which I'll test for sharpness. And we have various colors against a white background, or we could move this to a black background. Those are the extreme challenges for TTL. Here is my group C lights, and I will test the EL-1s and the Westcott FJ200s. The FJ200s are going to light our main ballroom event space, and then we have a few other locations we have to light, so we'll be using Speedlites for that. And then we will be using the strobes for portrait sessions, which we'll have. And then here is the third light, which is going to be in group D. And we have various tones here, so that's what we really want to test. All right, so I'm using for the transmitter right now the FJ X3M, okay? And right now everything is in TTL. So we're good to go, and we could line it up, take some test shots, and the main thing I'm looking for is this right here, the histogram. We want to make sure that the colors are accurate, meaning the red, green, and blue levels are equal in length. That gives us neutral color. And then I want to check the exposure. So I want exposure information from left to right. That way nothing is underexposed. So let me mount this back up and we'll do a few test shots. And again, if you have any questions, drop them in the feed and I will get back to them or answer it live if I can. Okay. So I'll bring this over here. There we go. Cool. So like I said, I'm shooting wired tethered because we are going to be doing a magazine editorial shoot. And I want to check the speed, the accuracy, everything, because Evoto just had a huge update to version 7, added a bunch of cool features. It just makes shooting these editorial shoots so much easier because we could put our preset in, remove flyaway hairs, de-wrinkle, reflection in glasses, take the redness out of someone's face. Dawn has created our own preset for portraits, so that'll be great and easy to do. So when the art directors are standing there looking at your screen, they're coming over 90% finished. So what we're going to do is test our TTL. All 3 lights are firing, all 3 groups are on. And I'm just going to get kind of a medium shot here. All the lights fired. I'll just quickly check it here. My histogram looks great. I'm purposely using electronic shutter on the R1. I know the Westcott system works fantastic with mechanical shutter. So if I come over here, I'll check the file which instantaneously populated within Evoto, and we'll flip the screen around. And so you guys can see exactly what I'm going for here. One-man show. There we go. Good. All right. So this is what's most important right over there is that histogram. Let's kill the overhead lights. Yeah. There we go. You can see it better. So the histogram is equal in length for exposure and color. And I can fire the camera from here as well, right? So far, I'm thoroughly impressed with the TTL features. All these groups are in TTL working perfectly. And I'm going to turn it to an entirely dark scene. So let's see what comes from that. So a bunch of black tones. And we'll take it a little bit of a wide shot. And you can see how instantaneously it pops in. And it's good, right? The blacks are still black. Now, I don't know if you could notice it, but we slightly did a shift to the right. Because TTL read the scene in all these darks, it's suggesting more light. Now, if I like that, we could stay with it. If I want the blacks to be blacker, all I have to do is click Flash Exposure Compensation. I'm going to go big, I'll go -2. And we could see what happens. So as soon as I took the flash exposure compensation to -2 stops, and I'll show you the back of the camera there, you could see how rich and dark the darks became. The blacks became truer black, we still have whites, and the histogram moved from pushing up the right side to more neutral on the left, right? So this is where Canon is a little bit more superior than anybody else's flash brand, be it Godox, Westcott, Profoto. It's because Canon will dial in the TTL off of the active focus point. So that's pretty ingenious to be able to do that. But that only works within the Canon ecosystem. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you the flash exposure trick here. And I have these flash systems in my head, right? So I know when I'm using Westcott, I know what to do. I know what Canon, I know what to do. It's just instinctual because I practice so much. So here we go on the back of the camera. You could see right here, we're going to go activate flash exposure compensation. So I took it -2. And what that's saying with that pre-flash is just give me a little bit less light. At 0, the blacks were, I would say, a little bit too bright for me. And if we went to +1, and we take another frame, there's our scene, bunch of darks. And then we come over here and we check the file. It's like, whoa, baby, those blacks aren't black anymore. They're starting to get brown, a little bit muddy. So that's where I'd want it to be, right? So I'm really happy with the TTL and what's going on. So we're going to switch from the Westcott system to Canon, and we're going to compare the accuracy. Because Canon just, let's flip the camera around. Canon just had a major update. So I'm going to take the Westcott transmitter off, and I'm going to use the Canon STE10. It's this tiny little Speedlight transmitter, and it is the intelligent multi-accessory shoe. So there's no pins like it used to be, the 5 pins. It has these gold connector points, and it draws the power from the camera. So once it's active and on, I could go in the menu and check for my link. And right now I don't have a link. So let me bring this over here so you can see what I'm doing. When I say I don't have a link, that means the flash and the camera and the transmitter are not talking, right? So this red light right there is telling me we're not linked up. So I got to go into the flash menu, external speedlight control, flash function settings. We're in groups, but you can see I'm on channel 5. I know my speedlights are on channel 15. So I'm going to change that to channel 15 and watch this light here. It should go green. There we go. We have green light. So that means everything is linked up. So we're going to use the exact same settings. We're going to neutralize our flash exposure comp and see what's happening. Okay, so the Canon flash is fired. Make sure everybody's on. There we go. Good. And for some reason, I have 0, right, on the actual image. So let's flip this so you can see over here. And this is why we test, because I don't want to get into the field and say, what the heck happened? So it is 0, right? So these were the latest firmware, that's one we like, for Westcott. Here's Canon. So I got to figure out what the heck is going on. All right. Flip the camera around so we could walk through this diagnostic together. Raise this up a bit. There we go. Come over here. Follow me. Good, good. Wrong way. There we go. Good. All right. For the heck of it, oh, well, there's the reason why. I didn't check. In manual, on each group, I had them set to 1/8 power. So we're going to change that mode. Change the mode to TTL. Zero it out, so I didn't check the settings. We'll get each group. Change the mode. Speedlight controls. Function settings. There we go. TTL. And group D, TTL. So now everything's the same. So hopefully now everything's going to be just fine. All right, pop it again. And it is. So let's drop the camera so you could see it. And there you go. So always check your settings. So thank goodness. I'm glad that that happened. Learned here. So now this is the Canon flash. So we're getting the exact same thing, meaning it's a dark background. We're about the exact same exposure as we were with the Westcotts. So I'm gonna come over here to my set, the little person, the white background, all that. Same lights. All right, running great. Color is good. Exposure is good. It was just a little hot on the darks, the same as the Westcotts. So I'm going to come back over to the dark, shoot a big wide shot. Good. And then shoot a wide shot with the mixed tones. And then come in for a close-up on the face with a white background. And we'll check those shots for consistency. Okay. Everything's looking good. Very good. So I'll flip it up. We'll recap. All right, so here's the deal. Testing out all the new firmware. Updating. Back away here. There we go. So we tested, updated firmware camera, updated software, updated both the Canon Speedlites and the Westcott, and everything is working in full electronic shutter. So, go to my menu, people, full electronic shutter. All right, any questions? Before I was just gonna try and trick the system up. What I'm gonna do is put the camera into full electronic shutter, not electronic first curtain, but full electronic shutter, because we get a faster recycle time. Like just to see, is it going to work? So I know the Canons will work, so I'm going to pop a flash in full electronic shutter. Everything is working great, right? In which it should. It's Canon on Canon, right? And we can shoot like crazy, right? And all those images are in, doing great. So I'm going to swap out the transmitters just to see if the Westcott, now I know they're not designed to work in full electronic shutter. It could be a little inaccurate. We could get misfires. Okay, everything fired. Exposure's good. So it's working in all 3 shutters. All right, I just got a misfire. right, so it will not shoot as fast. Let me bring the camera down so you guys could see the screen, and I'll review that. Okay, so this is the Westcott transmitter in electronic shutter. So we have one, oh, let's bring that down. Good. So you can see a misfire, fired. There we go, fire, misfire, fire. So it's true, it's not as stable and accurate as the electronic shutter. Here's the Canon, they fire every time. The only variation you're seeing in exposure here is one of the groups of flashes did not fire, but pretty much everything else did. And I'll bring you over to the menu and show you what I mean by changing the flash shutter on your camera. Some camera systems, I believe Nikon, still has only electronic shutter. So here we go. So I go in my menu, electronic shutter, electronic first curtain shutter, or mechanical. For the best accuracy, Westcott recommends mechanical. So I have one other test that I have to do, and that is using the using the Westcott FJ82 with the latest firmware in TTL, and then firing the groups. All right, so I've updated it, power it on, version 2.02. Okay, and we're gonna go TTL on everything. Just to check. Go to group D, and we'll have them at 0. No flash compensation at all. That's where you can adjust the power up or down between the groups. And for this test, I'm going to have the camera in mechanical shutter. Come on, rotate. All right, the camera's in mechanical shutter. And then I will try it in electronic shutter. Very good. All the groups will fire. So we'll test it at the dark scene first. And I'll do a wide shot. Nice mix of tones, blacks, whites, grays. And then I'll check. Oh, everything looks good with one exception. I'll pull the image up on the back of the camera instead of going back over to the computer. And I want to see if you know, come on, wrong way, go down, go down, go down. Here we go. Do you know what's going on here? Right? Oop, 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 come on, come on. Lower again. So this image is overly warm. Anybody know what's going on? Let's pull up the info. The histogram is pushing all the way, the red channel of the histogram is pushing all the way to the right, saying, whoa, dude, too much red. So the last time I used the FJ82, I had a tungsten filter on there and I didn't check it. So I'm going to remove that filter and do the test again. So whenever we're in an environment where there's tungsten light, we use tungsten gels over all the flashes, and then we shoot at 2900 degrees Kelvin to get good neutral color tones and flesh tones. There we go. Now we'll line up the same shot again. Good. All the lights fired, and it's looking really hot, right? So that's telling me my on-camera flash, you see the histograms, boom, going to the right. That is telling me the on-camera flash is too bright. So what if we go over here and say, hey, on-camera flash, -2. Much better. So the histogram moved. Good deal, good deal. So we're going to take on-camera flash -3. There we go. Review that shot, and we're back in business. So we got a lot of lights here in a small, confined space, but it's doing the job. Now I'm going to swing it over, and we're going to test it on the brighter environment. Right? So we're going to go over here, zoom in close. Now, it might be underexposed. Very good, it's not. So it's working great. So I have noticed in the past that sometimes the FJ Flash system will run hot, but there is a workaround. So if we go in external speedlight control and ETTL balance instead of standard, we'll put it in flash priority. And let's see if that gets dramatically darker. Flash priority, it's just what the on-camera flash likes. So we'll take it again. And it seems bright, right? It seems a little bit brighter. Okay, so I'm going to stay in external speedlight control, flash function, where we at flash priority, we're going to stay in standard. Now, if you go to ambiance priority, it's going to allow more ambient light in the shot. So that's what those 3 settings mean. So flash balance to allow a better balance between the ambient light and the flash exposure. Standard is the best mix of both ambient light and flash output. Flash priority is the flash gives the priority to no matter what the background is. So I like standard. All right. Excellent. So again, let's do a quick recap. We'll walk around the set. I used the Tether Tools arrow table, which is great for traveling and being mobile and on location. Shooting into a Voto, tethering works spot on every time. It just connects, it doesn't drop. Awesome system. Then we were practicing with the triangle of light in TTL. I know it works perfect in manual, but I just wanted to check the updates of the firmware on both the FJ Flash system and the Canon EL-1 system for TTL. And they have greatly improved the TTL with the FJ Flash system. So this is in Group B. And as I said before, I label all my flashes. So Group B always. So when we're setting them up or our assistant is setting them up, they know where the lights go. B, C, and D. Here's what we were photographing. Different tones, a lot of bright background could throw off TTL, but it did really good matching it up. And we're checking the colors and lens sharpness. And this was the very dark area for the dark tones to see how it reacted with that. Here's our Group C, that's labeled. And then Group D is over here. So we're just practicing in the lighting lab. All right, well, thanks for joining me. I'm going to be going through more as we pack and prepare and get ready for this big job we've got in Phoenix, Arizona. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you joining in. If you found this of value, give it a thumbs up, share it, drop your comments in the feed, and I'll get back to you soon.